Not a problem. Well, I start recording, and what I'll do is I'll get one of the younger, more hipper people in IT to then pop it into a YouTube clip, our YouTube channel, and then I can send you back the link.
Yeah,
so
that'd be awesome.
then,
Yeah, that'd
then
be
they
super.
can have a look at that, because otherwise, or what do they say? Just find the nearest 10-year-old walking around, and they'll be able to tell you how to do it.
That's it.
Well, look, I thought I'd just thank you for taking the time again today. I'm so sorry about mucking you guys around last week. As I said, we've had 4 in this house down with COVID, and I couldn't talk a sentence without coughing last week. So we're back. I thought I would just kind of take you through. I've got like a little bit of a PowerPoint presentation, but I think what a lot of schools find more useful is if I show you the system, and then you ask kind of questions. So you were saying, I think you had Textbook Tracker as well as our LibCode. So obviously you still, or you weren't using Textbook Tracker for this year, or what was the situation there, Caroline?
Well, as I said, all our books are being sort of packed away, so we haven't used the library system for over 12 months, because that's how long it's taken us to get the library built and renovated and all that. Yeah.
From there. Okay. And are you wanting, so with your cataloging that you are using at the moment in LibCode, do you have, like, how do you normally catalog? Do you go to SKISS? What do you normally do?
Yeah, I do. I go to SKISS. Sorry about that.
That's okay. It's a good tune.
They always want me. I'll just turn it off. Yeah, I do. I go to SKISS for to get the numbers and all that sort of. Yeah.
Okay. And do you have in your current LibCode system like all your ISBNs? Is that what your
Yep.
Beautiful. Okay, so the good news is that LibCode is one of the easiest systems. It's one of our legacy systems to merge into the new Oliver. We're doing it day in, day out. We've had about 500 merge over for EQ. What I'll do is I'll just open up this, excuse me. Oh. So sorry, it won't be a second. We're saying about technology. Where's the nearest 10-year-old? Just going to share my screen as well. Oh, wrong screen, isn't it? Okay, you can see Oliver V5 presentation in front of you.
Yep, that's working.
Yes.
Fine.
Yep.
Oh, beautiful. No worries. So what I thought I'd take you through is to have a look at the catalog interface and how it connects to like EQ Digital Library, your on-premise library, as well as, do you use ClickView at your school?
I don't believe so.
No.
Okay. So you do have the capability of connecting into any of those other sources. Circulation Desk, how it functions, the catalog, and how it integrates. And then just implementation and support, how we get that in. So the biggest difference that you're going to see in regards to Oliver compared to some of the older systems is the interface. A few years ago, we kind of sent our developers out into the wild, and the kids are so damn tech savvy, it is nuts. So we've modeled the classic look on your Netflix screens or your Roblox screens, etc. So that I'll show you in a minute, that interface. Obviously, you won't be needing the junior interface, which is our primary school mode. Do you use any of the literacy programs, the Premier's Reading Challenge, etc., for some of the junior years?
We do, but not we haven't done it for a while.
Okay. Well, yeah. If you do it, with the Queensland, we just flag your school as a Queensland school, and any of the Premier Reading Challenge books will be flagged automatically, so they can come up in a Reading Challenge list, so you don't have to kind of look for what books that you have in the system.
And I have done that in the past. I've had to look for them, and then if I didn't have them, I would order them.
Yep. Well, we can show you. We can show you how it'll just kind of bounce up and show you what you have in your catalogue and what's on the list. Do you use EQ's digital library?
No.
Do you know much about the digital library?
No, not really.
No, not much. So Ed Queensland has actually got the largest digital library in the Southern Hemisphere. It is the pinnacle of digital libraries. You've got access to over 70,000 resources from a subscription. So I think EQ charges $1.50 a student. You can nominate who you give access to the digital library to. So if you give access to just the teaching staff, if you give access to, if you've got some avid readers that have been through your catalogue and are wanting more, you can actually get a lot more for them. Or you can particularly have access to grade 7, 8 and 9. So when they say, some principals say, then we know we've lost them. As soon as they get to kind of grade 10, there's not a lot of fiction. But I'll show you how it actually interacts with Oliver. And video content. So there's ClickView is used in a lot of high schools for, I think it's sciences and things like that. Anything in the digital space, whether it be PDFs, YouTube channels, ClickView can integrate into Oliver with a one touch. Do you have any English as a second language there at your school? Any students?
No.
No?
No.
If you do, or if you're going to France and you just want to be fancy, we actually do have a language toggle button that you can translate your whole screen. So if you do come across that,
we did have a few guys from, I want to say Germany or somewhere like that. Like they were.
It was Germany. That's right. Yeah, I remember that. A year or two ago. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
And exchange students.
Exchange students, and sometimes I found it hard to understand them. Their English and that.
Yeah. I'll show you what can be done. A few different things. So I'm just going to pull up Oliver. So this is actually Oliver. This is what it looks like. Very, very easy to navigate. Your green means the book is available. Orange means it's available, but in a different branch. So this is where if you had a, excuse me, this is if you have like a teacher resource branch and a student branch, or if you had a primary and senior campus, etc. That's just what the little orange tick means. And cross means it's not available. This one here, we've got a few different carousels that are coming across like the main OPAC page. We've got highly rated, popular, the Premier's Reading Challenge that I was talking about before. So it will find the books that you've got in your physical catalogue and show you from there. To get the most out of Oliver is when a student actually logs in as a user. So I'm just going to log in here. I'm actually going to have a few extra buttons at the moment. Oh, it's just showing me an update. I'm going to have a few extra buttons because I'm admin as well. So don't get confused by like too many buttons up here. I've got admin buttons as well as user buttons. So as a student who logs in, what it also does is it actually has a look, kind of like Netflix, etc. It has a look at what I like to read. It has a look at what I've loaned in the past. It has a look at what year level I'm in, and then it will start suggesting books in that genre. You like, I'm looking at my reading history here. With like Hot and Here's a Who and BFG, etc. But it will actually have a look at what my preferred reading style is. So that's just there. Very basic. When I'm going for a search here, I'm going to grab a dog book. Now, my library here, I have connection to the EQ digital library as well as my physical library, because when I put a search in for dog, it will show me the Overdrive books, it will show me audio books, and it will show me physical books. So it's going to show me everything that I've searched for, what I can find. If you have a particular format that you want to look at, say in a storybook, it will just narrow down your search field from there. Obviously, if you don't have EQ subscription, you're not going to see the Overdrive collection as well. But what we're wanting to show you is that if you do have that subscription, you can actually have everything in the same federated search. So from there, physical book, I'm just going to untick story there. So sorry, physical book. Here is all my SCIS information. You can go as far as to popping in something like, where can I find it in the library? Show me where it is. I've got a little bouncing ball on that shelf there. As a mother of 3 boys, I cannot guarantee it's boy-proof looking, but you can give them an idea of where that is found. An ebook, if you have a look at an ebook from here, you can actually borrow from here. You don't have to go out of the library. You would just go open ebook. It'll bring up your Sora subscription and open book, and I can start reading my book from there. I'm going to close that one down. So that's just our different genres. Do you often get teachers asking you for what books you've got on a certain topic, etc.?
Yeah, like you know, it might be World War One or World War Two, or anything on countries, you know, different countries and that sort of thing.
Not a problem. So if I have a topic that I'm looking at, Olympics are quite, you know, games are on at the moment. So, so I would just pull up my collection going, yep, look, I've found all these books. I drag them over to here in a basket. And look, I've found all of these. What I would do is more actions, and you can print off a list. You can rename the list. So you could have, so you could have, you know, Kylie's Olympic list, and I'll show you where we can save it. Or you can go more actions and you can share that list saying, hey, Kylie, yep, you're after books on the Olympics. This is what I've found. So I could, did you want to grab that?
Yeah, I'm very sorry.
No, you're right.
Good morning, Carol King speaking. Yep. Yep, I'm on just online there, so but I'll do it as soon as I. Yep, no worries. Thank you. Bye. Apologies, Kylie.
You're right, love. So from there, you can email that list to a teacher, you can send it to them in Teams, or you could create a QR code. So from there, you can actually give teachers access to make up their own reading lists. So once they find the topics that they're after, up here is a little thing called reading list. I might put it in my classroom topic, grade 8s. We've got robotics this term. So I've actually done up a robotics list, and it's sitting in there in grade 8s, classroom topics. You know, we've got special occasions. You might have your Anzac Day, your Chinese New Year, NAIDOC week, preparing your book list kind of ahead of schedule. So from there. So that's kind of how we do a reading list and how we find books. Search other topics. This is where excuse me, where Darren might come in to help you with this. You can actually put any links, you know, that have been vetted. So if you're trying to do a search, you can actually browse all the links that you're wanting. So whatever database that you're wanting to connect up, or any information, you can actually just make them all available in the back end. So when you search other sources, if there's a ClickView video that we're looking for frogs, you can search from there. So you don't have to go out of Oliver onto another website. It will just kind of grab it from there. So that was just search other sources. From there. There is, with the news page, you can actually set up different things with your news page. I've got here just a little carousel of the new manga books that have come in. I've done a featured book this week on Wonder. So anything in a YouTube open interface, you can actually just cut and paste. So we can actually pop in like little video content, etc. there. You do not have to have any high-level expertise in regards to coding to be able to do some things on your news page. It is just literally clicking in here to the box. There's my heading, and I've just embedded a YouTube clip there by just cut and pasting it into there, popping a little bit about my book, you know, change the colors, change the bold, and then save. So that is it. And to edit the news layout, it's literally a drag and drop. You know, you can just change how it looks, how it comes across the page, and then save. You can kind of change the look and feel around. With branches in Oliver, you had a textbook tracker branch, and then you had your normal library with your old systems. You can actually open up as many branches as you wish kind of within Oliver. So this one here, we've got our textbooks, all our books, etc. are here, and it would be managed obviously by, I'm not too sure if it's the same person who would manage the main library, but they obviously wouldn't be seen as general hires, etc. It would just be sitting in your textbook branch, and your loans would be 12 months as opposed to, you know, your 2-week loans. We have a heap of things like music department, etc. All of our music students are obviously the same students, but we've actually had our instrumental teachers load all their equipment, their scores, etc. into Oliver. We've put our instrumental music timetable as well, because they always seem to lose that, but at least they know if they go into Oliver, it's in the music branch and the music information. From there, I am just going to jump back here. The circulation desk. very, very easy in regards to the functionality. Very, very basic. There's not a lot to circulation desks. We're hoping not to confuse, you know, too many with circulation desks. And I've just, bear with me. Circulation desk is here. This is my admin kind of screen. You can either jump here on the bigger buttons, or it's just up here. As soon as a student comes in.
Yeah, she's in my ILC class in there. All right then, thank you.
Very basic. With your functionalities and your circulation desk, I can start typing a student name as soon as they come in. I have a couple of overdue loans if I wish to proceed. If I'm on the loan or return, and then you would just scan from either the loan or the return. I've got a couple of overdues here, so I can actually update, very overdues. I can update the date from here. I can do things like terminate loans. So if I have left the school and you know that there's a couple of books that keep on coming up on your overdue list and you're wanting to just update them all, I'm going to go all loans. They're missing, lost by Kylie Higgins on the 1st of the 8th, and I can weed those out of my library loans. So it's on a weeded list. It's not going to keep on coming up on your overdue list. I'm not going to weed them out today as an example, but I would just hit confirm. So they would sit on like an audited weeded list. So then if, you know, two weeks later, I find the books, even after I've moved schools and post them back, you can actually just scan them back in. So it's not going to be constantly coming up on my overdues. Is that how you normally weed at the moment?
It's a longer sort of process, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Kylie, I've lost you here somewhere. I can hear you, but I can't see you.
Oh, you can't see?
Oh, I don't know what happened.
I can still definitely see you.
Can you? I can't see anything of yours.
Can you see the presentation at all, Carol?
I could see it, but I can't see it now. Something happened in between that I couldn't see. So just
click down on, if you just hover over the Teams icon down the bottom, and there's two windows there. So one of them's the general meeting, and it's just a white box. Click on the other one. Click on that window.
Can you see me now?
Yeah, we can see you the whole time, but can you see Kylie?
Yes, I can. Yeah, I can see Kylie.
Yeah,
you can see me. Can you see the presentation now?
Yeah, I can. Yes, thank you.
Oh, beautiful. No worries. It's always handy to have an IT person.
Oh, he is brilliant. There's nothing he doesn't know.
That's what you want. That's what you want. So I've just returned these couple of books. The transaction log is actually what I have done as an administrator. So if you've got a lot of kids in and out, you know how it gets, then you'll think, oh, where am I up to? What have I done? Have I put those books back in? The transaction log will tell you right then and there. Once I finish with as Kylie as a student, you can actually browse. So if you have a certain class in front of you, the 7Bs have come in this week, you can actually see that class and you can actually grab a student from there. And then you would just go into circulation desk, barcode out, or return, barcode out. So from there, there's not a lot.
Our system is very ancient compared to what you've got here, eh?
Oh, even this, I was going to say, our circulation desk is very basic because there's, you know, it's just in and out.
What we've got is very, compared to all this that you've got here, it's very ancient dinosaur sort of,
kind of stuff. Don't get too overwhelmed. It's, you know, once you get the hang of the basics, it is, you know, 90% is day in, day out, easy. So the browse is just if you're wanting to look for a class as opposed to an individual student, and you can drill down like who hasn't loaned today, who has got overdue loans, you know, and things like that. I am going to jump back over here. With overdue reports, you can actually set and forget overdue reports. So we can set up like your school logo and just a basic, all right, sorry, you know, following books are overdue, and this is what it looks like. So here, your school logo, library overdue notice, this is overdue, and here's a picture. That can be emailed to 3 email addresses. So typically in high school, the student is the first email address, and then a parent address and or alternative carer. So if there's blended families, if library lending is 2 weeks, on the next day, you can send out automatic emails. So if it hasn't been scanned back in within that 2-week period, it can automatically go out to the children. If it hasn't been, you know, 3 weeks or 4 weeks, you can escalate to the parent. So that in itself, schools have said has reduced overdue chasing by about 20%. And we embed your SCIS subscription into the back of Oliver. So you don't actually have to go into SCIS and then go into Oliver. It kind of brings it all in automatically. So things like the cover art, etc., can come out. So often, you know, students have got a book overdue. What does it look like? I don't know. So that helps. Cataloguing. Oh, bear with me a minute. I've just realised that my scanner is in the cupboard. I'll be 1 second. And this laptop at home does not have enough USB ports, so I'm going to toggle between my scanner and and the other thing. And that's right, my mouse doesn't work. So all right, where is my mouse? Oh. So can you just still see me?
Yes. Yep.
Beautiful. All right, I'll just take my external camera off and just use my laptop camera, which means then I can control my mouse. Bear with me. So with the cataloguing, okay, with cataloguing, we have got this thing called smart cataloguing. So with your SCIS subscription, we actually can, just by scanning the ISBN, input books into Oliver Now. So I've just scanned the back ISBN, and then I would scan the school barcode, and that's it. So, except I've scanned that in a little bit earlier today. So it's already said that that's a duplicate. So that is it. So instead of going to SCIS, downloading the information, bringing it back to your library system and uploading it, we embed your SCIS subscription into the back of Oliver. And then all you would need to do is classification. You might put it in a junior collection. We bought it from Angus and Robertson, and the cost is $15. And then you would save resource and copies. So if you had 5 copies of this one, once you scan your ISBN, you would just scan your school barcode 5 times, and that would load it through. Then it would prompt you to print out new labels at the end of your cataloguing session. So that's a lot quicker than what you are probably doing at present, correct?
Yeah, that would save time, that's for sure. You know, it's like a very long, drawn out process.
A lot quicker. So that's one of the things that schools absolutely love. With the smart cataloguing, managing school assets, we actually have a lot of schools that open up different branches with Oliver. We mentioned it before with the music equipment. So we would have like an asset branch if you're wanting to, where if you are wanting to file all things like laptops and iPads, etc. Obviously, you don't need information like book genre, ISBN, author. So we would just open up a school asset branch. So at any given time, you could actually track your asset and who's got it on loan, and you can book it. You can have an ad booking button. So if there is anything like high school, the film and TV students have, there's a couple of expensive cameras, that they use for their assessment, etc. Then they can book it as a piece, as opposed to loaning out a resource in the library. So you could actually do that in any of the sections. Stock take, absolutely easy to do a stock take because you don't have to shut down your library. It is actually a rolling system. So if you have 2 or 3 desktops or laptops or iPads with scanners, you can scan your books. It can take into consideration what's out there on loan, and then it can formulate like a report at the end. And speaking of reports, so with Oliver, the best thing to think about the system is every student, every loan, and every so sorry. You're my first one back, and I'm nearly there. I'm nearly getting there. Every student, every loan, and every book is a piece of data. So with those pieces of data, we can grab information out of Oliver, and we can produce Excel and Word or a PDF report. The best way, I'm just going to show you a little demo. I always say, don't get overwhelmed. Please don't get overwhelmed. Before you even want to do a report, we've got all of these kind of groupings and analytical reports in Oliver. Ring up customer service and say, hey, it's Kylie. I want to show what books haven't been borrowed in 2 years in the library. We're doing a cull. Or I'm wanting to actually see who's using the library. I want to do a report on the comparison between junior and senior students, male and female, and teaching staff. Who is using the library? So we can drop and drag some columns and rows into the middle of the reporting console and produce a report. So don't even think about trying to work through the tiles and work out what you're wanting to report. Ring up customer service saying, this is what I'd like to show. Can I show it? They'll save the report into your reporting console, and then you can run it once a term, once a year. It can automatically run at the beginning of the year when you have leadership meetings. So this one here, we've got a breakdown of all the junior students, males and females, versus the senior students, versus the teachers, who's lending, what percentage are lending. You can even do things like what books have been on loan or been put on reserve more than 20 times this semester. So you might have to increase a couple more of those. With the integration, this would be more Darren's jam. It is basically Oliver is able to connect to a lot of the student management systems. With Education New South Wales, And with all of our Catholic schools and Lutheran schools, we do single sign-on, etc. One school doesn't at this stage. So we can, it's just from Ed Queensland's side back in through, I think it's that lovely little thing called an API wand, which I'm sure means a lot to Darren, doesn't really mean a lot to us. We just know it can. So hopefully down the track, we can get that. At the moment, with your rolling over of students, etc., at the beginning of the year, you would go into one school, into the library management file, you would download, and then we would upload in a CSV file. The migration of what you have at the moment into Oliver is very easy, and we've got step-by-step instructions on what to do.
Darren, do you remember doing that at the beginning of the year and I had that print off?
Yeah, it's common with Idea 10 as well. So there's a whole bunch of software that we sort of roll all the export data out. So it's pretty common in place. Even
that was a easy steps to follow, wasn't it?
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. I mean, it's fairly straight up and down when we do those ones. And we've got to do it for a bunch of different packages because EQ doesn't like to, well, I should say one school doesn't integrate well with other packages without a manual export. So, that's pretty typical. Yeah. It's more of an EQ not wanting to budge, really. They have theirs set up and they don't want to tie with anything else. So that's it.
We had really, really good conversations, and like we'd been looking after EQ for 5 years, and we thought we were almost there with the single sign-on and things like that. But the team, a few of the team moved, and so I think we're back to square one. And thinking, well, you know, we've got really the highest level of hosted security accreditation because we look after all of New South Wales schools, so we know it can be done. Just hopefully they'll eventually get there. With Oliver, you're not restricted to one computer in one library. Basically, anywhere where you've got a web address, you've got access to the system with your login. So obviously, we do most just EQ logins. So, you know, Cooper Higgin 82 or CHIG 82 is my little one's login, and it gets him straight into Oliver. So anywhere where you've got a laptop, desktop. There is a mobile app as well, and the single biggest use of the mobile app we find is when teachers, teacher aides, librarians out and about, they see a collection on sale and they're just not quite sure if they've got that collection in their library, so they can actually scan the ISBN, or you can actually, once you've got it loaded on your phone, you can actually just start typing and find the book in your library to check if you've got duplicates. So sorry, guys. This is our support staff. So we have got 10 in Brisbane. We look after New Zealand to WA. So Queensland smack bang in the middle of those two time zones. So it is very, very rare that you will ever ring up and not get someone on the phone. And we've got a 97% 2-hour close rate. If you ring up and you are trying to do something or trying to get something done or something's not working, within 2 hours that is normally done. And the only other time that it's kind of goes on to a project, etc., if someone comes up and says, oh, you know, there's support word there, I'd love that to be up here and that blue to be extended, well then we'll put that into a build. And all of our staff, all of our developers, all of our professional services, everyone is in Brisbane. We've got 50 staff here. So nothing is going offshore. These are the schools that we look after on Oliver. And Safer Technology for Schools is the certification that we have for hosted. We can do on-premise. We have, I can't remember the last school that actually asked for on-premise, but to let you know, we can actually do it. And you always own your data. So even if you come to a hosted system, it is your data. You're never going to be charged to get that data back. Now, I know you guys are a little bit further west, but here are some of the schools in Townsville that are currently Oliver schools. So everything from, you know, the little Mount Fox with 5 students all the way up to Townsville Grammar.
My daughter-in-law teaches at Townsville Grammar School.
So there you go.
So maybe I could go down there and have a bit of a look one day.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I've just rescheduled 30 appointments that I was supposed to have this week in Townsville. So we know that there's going to be a lot more.
Excuse me, Colleen, I've just got to get a message to a student before they leave.
Right.
Thank you.
How far, Darren, how far is Charters from Townsville? I think it was an hour
about an hour and a half. Yeah, roughly an hour and a half, depending on traffic. Yeah, about 150 k's thereabouts.
Yeah. I think I was supposed to be in Home Hill and Ingham this week, but I think that's like an hour north and an hour kind of south, isn't it?
Yep, yeah. So it's a bit further north. That's right.
Sorry, Darren.
You're right. That's you're right. So we're just saying there's probably another 25 schools, 25 to 30 schools that we're visiting now in a couple of weeks' time in your region, and we actually have our trainer who is going to be in the Townsville area. I think it's the 4th to the 7th of October, where he'll be onboarding schools. So if you do look at a decision, we may be able to even get him to your school for a 3-hour training session if a decision is made before, and time permitting. I think we've got one day filled up already, and we haven't even come to town yet to talk to the other schools. So yeah, and that is about it. The only other thing I was going to show you is our community pages. So we have our this is attached to Oliver. It's just not attached to my hosted demo. Basically, you've got, you know, if you were trying to do stock take and you were all excited and went in on the weekend and no one was at our help desk, you know, you can just pop in stock take and you can have a look at any of the articles or PDFs, etc. A stock take guide, any of the trending articles or videos or webinars are always here. You've got discussion groups. So if there is a particular area that you're wanting to join, one of the most popular is our library, excuse me, library display groups. So this is often not anything to do with Oliver. It is just peer-to-peer questions, suggestions. You know, I'm trying to get my grade 7 boys to read more. What series are people using that are popular? You know, here's displays. Have a look at how we've just set up our new displays. Things like, oh, here's my you know, Halloween display or book week display. It goes a bit nuts in the next few weeks. Something like, oh, I've had these shelving and now my suppliers closed down. Can anyone suggest where I could get these from? So there's a lot of different interactions there with librarians in Oliver and in and around your area. So that's kind of our community pages. And all the videos and training videos on how to do things are here on Oliver, just 2-minute increments. So to say you're taken offline, Caroline, for you know, long service leave, and you've got someone stepping into the library and they just really want to know how to log in, you know, how do I do a basic loan, etc. You don't want them touching anything else. You can go, yeah, basic loan, how do I process the basic loan? Here's a little video, and it will actually take them through step by step. So it'll take them through. Now, I can hear the audio. You probably can't hear the audio on that because it's coming through my same headset.
Bell goes, please. Lisa.
And that is about as much excitement as I can provide in an oligo demo.
Well, thank you very much for that, Collie. I really enjoyed that. I would like to learn more.
Yeah.
But that's up to the person that has all the money.
Up to Sandy.
And that one's not me either. I wish I did have the money. Yeah. I really do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Sandy, and I suppose that Derek would like to have a look too, you know, so yeah.
Yeah, and Derek's your principal there, is that?
No, Derek is he's the head of he's the head of the library here.
Library. You're right. I'm happy to show the guys through. Again, I know Derek's off sick today. I'll send Sandy back an email and just say, look, you know, if they would like to look at it further. And I know we were looking at some invoices that were with your textbook tracker and your libcode. As you said, I know the library's been shut, but I think they were looking at offering you something. If you do go ahead with Oliver, we can, you know, kind of put that into it.
If we can get a copy of this recorded session too, like a link to that, Sandy and Derek, I'm sure they'd appreciate it. At least they can look at it when they've got time to see what it's all about. Yeah,
definitely.
That'd be super.
That's probably the best
Holly,
thing.
I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to leave. I've got playground duty here.
You're right,
so thank you very much. I really appreciate it, and I'd love to learn more.
Any questions, just send them through.
All right then. Thank you.
No worries.
Thanks
very much for your time.
Thanks, Darren. No problem.
Appreciate it, Kylie. Thanks very much for your time, and yeah, I'll let you go.
Thanks, love. See you later. Bye.